Hey guys, I'd like to thank our sponsors, JJGames.com, for sponsoring today's episode. Make sure to check them out. They are a used game company. They offer many different types of older generations of games, all the way to new ones. Make sure to check them out. I've used them for Resident Evil 2 to Breath of Fire and Pokemon Stadium and so much more. So you guys really got to check them out. That is JJGames.com. All right. Hey guys, welcome to a brand new series. This is Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Make sure to like and subscribe, and this should be plenty of fun. So I got a question for you. Can I play this quickly as possible kind of thing? Or do you want me to play it properly?
What do you mean by properly?
Fight all the bosses the way you're supposed to.
Up to you.
Okay. We're going to have to deal with that intro anyway, so might as well skip it now. So I want to run into the differences between extreme and hard. Because hard isn't hard.
It's not gonna be extreme.
Action experts.
Maybe like super easy just is like super baby mode. Easy mode's like
no. Okay, so in this game,
after the end,
you can't just heal from rations.
The world was split into two.
It's a waiting thing.
East and west.
But that means
the beginning
not
of the era
bullets don't do bullet damage. So, like, I shoot you. It's like me shooting you with a rubber bullet. But if I shoot you in a particular way, you bleed, and then that does lots of damage. So, unless you don't suture and whatever your wound, I can shoot you all day long and it will do nothing to you.
really put that HD on this game.
Well, this game was already on the PS3. They just
only
approaching
PS3. Only Metal Gear 4 was on PS3.
20 minutes to drop off.
1, 2, 3 were all on PS3.
really?
Equipment check.
4 Revengees, you know, and the new one.
Guns of the Patriot.
Okay.
Good. We've got high visibility.
Look, that's like PS2. Like PS2 was on that high. That's like.
Well, it also did have like
it just like I think Kingdom Hearts 2 was just about to come out, so all the graphics were like, you know.
Oh wow!
Put out that cigar.
It was literally
Connecting
like
oxygen hose to interior
3
connector.
years after
Put on your mask.
2. But I forgot how long.
Gas are
Yeah. Well, no. Like how long PS2 was in circulation.
Does Pennywise know what he's doing?
Dude, it still was going around when PS3 came out. Hell, it started dying out when PS4 came out. Thinking of PS2s.
10 minutes to drop off.
The last game that officially came out from PS2 was like I think it was like a sports game, 2015. You know what I mean? Like NBA, whatever, 2015 or something like that. You know. But still, it lasts for a while. You know. The PS3 is now more or less becoming the new PS2. You know? And then when the PS5 comes out, the PS4 becomes the new PS.
Depressurization complete.
Checking oxygen supply.
6 minutes to drop off. Opening rear hatch.
Metal Gear Solid 3.
Sunrise.
External temperature minus 46 degrees Celsius. 2 minutes to drop off. Stand
So it
up.
took me, by the way, 4 hours to realize how to do
You'll be falling at 130 miles
even
per
that.
hour.
It's really hard to
Not to
sit
get
there and
frostbite from the
master.
windshield.
Because
1 minute to drop off.
I
Move to the rear.
think in this game they finally realized that the controller can be sensitive enough to tell when you're doing half pressure, full pressure.
10
Now you
seconds
have
to
to,
drop
like,
off. Stand by.
Officially press down.
Yeah, I know. You grab on and you hold on half and you stop.
Prepare for drop-off.
And then to kill them instantly, then you press it down all the way again. But just to hold them, you hold down the button.
Spread your wings
And fly. God be with you.
This game really loves its cinematics.
Jack,
I don't think
I've
it's
got
as
some
bad
information.
as
The head
Metal
of
Gear
the
Solid
CIA
2,
has
but
finally given us the green light for the virtuous mission.
Virtual mission.
No, the virtuous mission. The future of our Fox unit depends on it. If it succeeds, we'll be officially organized into a unit.
Virtuous mission. Sounds like some kind of initiation ritual.
You know, don't get cocky. This isn't a training op.
Right. So what exactly is this wonderful mission?
Well, about 2 years ago, a certain Soviet scientist requested asylum in the West through one of our moles. His name is Nikolai Stepanovich Sokolov. He's head of the OKB-754 Design Bureau, one of the Soviets' top-secret weapon research facilities, and the East's foremost expert on weapons development.
Sokolov. Isn't he that famous rocket scientist?
The very same. On April the 12th,
Snake is caught up on
1961, the
his shit.
Soviets achieved the first manned spaceflight in history.
The Earth was blue, but there was no God.
Well spoken. The rocket that carried Yuri Gagarin to orbit was the A-1, known as the Vostok rocket. Sokolov is said to be the man most responsible for the multi-engine cluster used in that rocket. After Gagarin's flight, Sokolov left rocket development to become the head of the newly established Design Bureau.
From a lowly technician to head of a design bureau, that's quite a success story. So why do you want to defect?
It seems he'd become afraid of his own creations.
Afraid.
Call it a crisis of conscience.
And for that, he left his country and his family behind and went over the fence?
Not exactly. One of his conditions was that his family was also to be taken safely to the west. We used a mole to get the family out first and succeeded in sneaking Sokolov over the Berlin Wall shortly afterwards. I was the one who conducted the operation.
The security on the eastern side was still full of holes back then. Then what?
We got Sokolov over in one piece, but the whole ordeal had left him exhausted, and we checked him into a hospital in West Berlin. It took him 2 weeks and more than 600 miles to get from the research facility in the Soviet Union to Berlin. He was in no condition to say anything coherent. And it was only a week later that we had something much bigger on our hands.
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
October the 16th, 1962, President Kennedy received word that the Soviets were in the process of deploying intermediate-range ballistic missiles in Cuba. The president demanded that the Soviets dismantle and remove the missiles. At the same time, he announced a naval blockade to prevent further missile shipments from reaching Cuba. But the Soviets didn't back down, instead placing their armed forces on secondary alert. Soviet transport ships carrying missiles continued on course towards Cuba. US and Soviet forces went on alert for an all-out nuclear war, frantic negotiations were conducted through the UN's Emergency Security Council and unofficial channels to end the hair-trigger standoff. Finally, on October the 28th, the Soviet Union agreed to remove its missiles from Cuba, and so the world avoided a nuclear holocaust. But in order to get the Soviets to pull their missiles, we had to make a deal.
You mean the one where the US agreed to remove its IRBMs from Turkey?
No. The Jupiter IRBMs deployed in Turkey were obsolete, and we were going to get rid of them anyway. They had no strategic value whatsoever to either the US or the Russians. The Turkey deal was a ruse, a cover story that was fed to the other intelligence agencies around the world.
So what did the Russians really want?
Sokolov. They wanted us to return Sokolov.
You mean the Soviets pulled out of Cuba just to get their hands on Sokolov?
That's right.
What the hell was he working on?
At the time, we had no idea. We were running out of time. It was either give up Sokolov or risk full-scale nuclear war. In the end, we had no choice. President Kennedy gave in to Khrushchev's demand. The next day, I got Sokolov out of the hospital, handing him over to agents on the eastern side. Sokolov kept on screaming, "Save me," until he disappeared from my sight. Then, a month ago, we received some new information from one of our moles.
About Sokolov?
Yes. He was taken back to the research facility and forced to continue working on the weapon in question under KGB supervision. What's more, it's on the verge of completion.
So what kind of weapon is it? Something to do with space rockets?
No, missiles.
Same technology.
I guess you're right. We don't know the details, but it appears to be a new kind of nuclear device. For half a year now, the Soviets have been conducting frequent nuclear tests at Semipalatinsk.
Something to do with the weapon, I assume.
We're talking about a secret weapon so big that Khrushchev was ready to pull out of Cuba to get it back.
Is Sokolov still in the facility?
No. According to our intelligence, he's in Selino-Yarsk, a place in the mountains about 3 miles to the west that's known as the Virgin Cliffs.
The Virgin Cliffs. Nice name for a virtuous mission.
They moved him there just recently.
Why?
Apparently, they're conducting a field test of the weapon, but it's our best chance to get him back. This mission would never have been possible if he was still in the research facility. This is our last chance. Sokolov must have known that too when he contacted us.
Hey, we're back at the game. Like 12 minutes. We're not even really in the game.
Listen up, Jack. Your mission is to infiltrate Selino-Yarsk in the Soviet mountains, ensure the safety of Sokolov, and bring him back to the west. If we don't get Sokolov back before that weapon is complete, we'll be facing a major crisis. The clock is ticking. Once we've confirmed the rescue of Sokolov, stand by at the recovery point. A recovery balloon will be dropped at that point. Helium will be pumped into the balloon to inflate it. The process takes about 20 minutes. Once it's complete, the gunship's arm will latch onto the balloon and pull it up.
The Fulton surface-to-air recovery system. I'm familiar with the theory.
Take it easy. It's been combat-proven.
Do you think Sokolov is up to it?
The shock will be less than during a parachute jump, and the arm can handle up to 500 pounds.
So you're planning on going over the border in a single combat talent?
She's equipped with 2 6-barrel 20mm Vulcan cannons, as well as 2 40mm machine guns.
Sounds like she could hold her own against a battalion of tanks.
Even with the fuel in the reserve tank, we're facing a 4-hour time limit. If all goes well, it shouldn't take more than a few hours.
Home in time for dinner.
But if anything goes wrong,
You'll be eating dinner, breakfast.
and all the rest of your meals in the jungle.
And see.
Nope.
Oh, trees, motherfucker! Shit! On the net! My backpack! Ah, shit! My gear! Ah!
Do you copy? You're already in enemy territory, and somebody might be listening in. From here on out, we'll be using code names to refer to each other. Your code name for this mission will be Naked Snake. I'll be referring to you as Snake from now on. You're not to mention your real name.
Snake?
What, you don't like snakes?
What do you mean?
You've eaten one before, haven't you?
In survival training?
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know if I'd ever order one in a restaurant, but...
Be careful, you might not have a choice.
What about you, Major? What should I call you?
Let's see. I'll be Tom. Call me Major Tom. This will be a sneaking mission. You must not be seen by the enemy. You must leave no trace of your presence. Is that clear? This kind of infiltration is the Fox unit's speciality. In other words, weapons and equipment are procured on site. That goes for food as well. You're completely naked, just as your name implies.
Great. Now I see why you asked me if I like snakes. I suppose calling me Snake was your idea of a joke, too.
No, there's a good reason for that. I'll tell you later when the time is right.
Gotcha. Getting back to the subject, how exactly am I supposed to feed myself?
You've been issued a knife and a tranquilizer gun. Use them to hunt for food. You'll also find some medical supplies in your backpack.
Yeah, about the backpack. I lost it in a tree on the way down.
I see. Well, you'd better go
For
back
the
and
love
get
of
it.
God.
You know where it is?
Yeah,
No problem.
So, you
I
remember
can see
how we
it
were
from
playing League
here.
of Legends and all
It's stuck on a
that?
branch.
You're not playing! Good old, remember good old
Climb a
times?
tree.
There you go.
Stand in
You
front
guys
of
like,
a tree
Sir,
that's covered in
get
ivy.
off your
and
bike!
press
Like,
the
no.
action.
I'd like to breathe,
I'll be monitoring
please!
your progress over the radio.
Fuck!
We can't
Good
risk
on.
violating Soviet airspace
That's what
without
happens
being
when
in
you
the
have stuff he
gunship.
does. It sucks.
My frequency
Sadly, I
is
have stuff he does.
140.85. I'll give you a call
Why
if
don't
I
you go
need to
take some
talk.
cold medicine then?
You need to talk
That's
to
why
me,
he doesn't
use
stop
the send
running
function.
anymore.
Okay, Snake, go get your backpack.
So in this case, he upgrades your health.
What?
You upgrade your health in this game.
Oh, I guess you do. I never realized it.
Yeah.
I see you've retrieved your backpack, Snake. To equip a weapon, it's necessary to take it out of your backpack. In the survival viewer,
can I
choose
skip this
weapon
bullshit?
from the
Yeah. It was not plot reasons, so sure. She's your safe person, you know?
No, that was boss, but it's bullshit anyways. She's your mentor, whatever.
Try to remember some of the
Plus
basics
this
of
happened.
CQC.
Commencing Virtuous mission now.
Alright guys, gonna be in the episode. Make sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you.
Hey guys, welcome to the outro. Make sure to like this episode, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you aren't subscribed already, and make sure to click that bell if you do subscribe. I also have a Patreon, make sure to check that out, and that is it. Bye-bye.